Hello, everyone. My name is Allie, and I am a bookish coffeeholic. Welcome to my first booktube video. I have been on bookstagram on and off for almost 5 years, I think. Over the last 2 years, I guess, I have had a lot of life changes happen and just didn't get much of a chance to read. I think that the pandemic really kept me from doing that because it was so mentally taxing that I just didn't have as much energy as I wanted to spend time reading and creating content and sharing with everybody. But I am going to try my hand at some booktube now, and I'm going to try to, I guess, kind of revamp my bookstagram. Um, for me, it's just a great place for expressing my creativity and sharing my love of books and occasionally my love of coffee. So, I wanted to dive in with my first video being about books that I read in September. So far, I have read 7 books, almost 7 books this month. Um, by the time this goes up, I probably will have read 9 books. So I'm going to mention some of the ones that I'm very close to finishing and my thoughts so far on them. And when they're done, my reviews will be up on Goodreads for them. So let's get started. So this is my first Holly Black novel. I read Book of Night and I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's closer to a 2.5 star for me. It started off with a really great concept, and you can see that I kind of started tabbing because I thought that the magic system was very interesting. It was about shadows and their magic, which to me, I'm a fan of Peter Pan, and it just seemed very intriguing because of that, but it was nothing like that, in my opinion. I have seen a lot of people rate it on the low side, and unfortunately, I would have to agree. I thought that the concept was great, but the execution was a little bit lacking. I will say that if you really enjoy urban fantasies and are a fan of darker fantasies, that you might find it more entertaining than I did. The only reason that I rated it so low was because it felt like it just dragged for about 70% of the book, and then it started picking up only for the last like 4 to 5 pages to me to be a disappointment, which is unfortunate because I had high hopes. The next book I wanted to talk about is A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the 3rd book in the Cursebreakers trilogy, which I believe that this book came out last year. And guys, this series was amazing. I read this entire series this year over the last 3 months, I think. I have read 1 book a month, and it kicked butt. These books are very good in my opinion. I know that some people don't like a sequel, like the second book syndrome thing. In my opinion, the second book of this series was actually better than the first, because the first is a very loose retelling of a classic fairy tale, and then the second one is where you actually, in my opinion, it actually feels more unique and it's its own kind of story. It's also possible that I enjoyed it more because I liked the character viewpoints more than the first one. That's possible. But in the last one, they all 4 have their own character POV chapters, and I think that that was done really well. I know based on the acknowledgments that Bridget wrote them during the pandemic, I think, or was like doing the editing process during the pandemic, getting ready to release it, and was talking about how difficult it was. But I don't feel like that impacted the quality of her writing and her storytelling. She has a very fantastic way of writing. I do really enjoy her books, and I know that specifically for the Curse Breakers series, she has a new series that just started. I believe that the first book in that series came out this year. It's Forging Silver into Stars is the first book in a new series, but it's set in the same universe, world. However, it's supposed to be put, whatever the word is, it's set in the same like kind of place as the Cursebreaker series, and so I'm really looking forward to picking that one up. But I do highly recommend Bridget Kimmerer and her fantasy books. They are young adult, so I know that I am not the target audience, but I have a special place in my heart for fantasy of almost any reading level. Okay, so it's Homicide and Hollow, and this book is a cozy part of a cozy mystery series. The first book came out, I believe, last year, and the third book comes out in October of this year, and I cannot wait to pick it up. So if that statement is any indication of how the series is going, it's a good one. I highly enjoy this series about a Filipino-American family where the main character has come back home after trying to go to college and do her own thing in Chicago. So she comes and moves back to the suburbs of the Chicago area, and there's a lot of family dynamic in it, and the food descriptions are just amazing. And this book just describes all of the food so perfectly that I just want to try it all. And there's even recipes in the back. It was Pumpkin Heads by Rainbow Roll, and it's illustrated by Faith Erin Hicks. This book is so cozy. It is so fall, and it's fantastic. There are lots of food references like snacks, and there's lots of fall activity references, and it takes place on Halloween night. So you know that it has to be good. It is about two work best friends, that have had a seasonal job together for the last 3 years, and this is their last year because they're high school seniors, and they're getting ready to go to college the next year. So at the beginning, they're definitely sad about that, but then there's just all of their adventures and antics together over their last night that are hilarious to me and also very relatable. The next book I wanted to mention, I've seen it circulating on several people's fall TBRs, and it is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Let me tell you, this book is so cozy. It is the coziest non-mystery that I think I've ever read. Most of the time, the cozy books that I read they're either the graphic novels because they're cute, fun, quick, or they're cozy mysteries, but this book is so incredibly cozy. That's the best way that I know how to describe it. So it's about a witch in Britain where they live amongst people, but they don't commune with other witches. So they live separately amongst society. And the main character in particular was raised by a witch and had a very challenging childhood, I guess, is the way that I can best describe it. So she had a very challenging childhood. She has a lot of like mental, emotional struggles with connecting with people in her life and finding a place that actually makes her feel like she's at home. So she struggles with that a lot. And she comes to know these three young witches that she has been called in to help. And the caretakers of those three young witches just kind of bring her in, and it makes her feel so at home that she has to come to grips with all of those feelings that she had from her childhood. And I think that this book just ends on a perfect note, perfect ending. I feel like there could be more to the story, but at the same time, the way it ends is just, it's wrapped up in a nice little bow. It's definitely wrapped up in a nice little bow. The last book that I would like to talk to you about is A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is a very popular book that I've never read, and I decided to try it. And let me tell you, I'm so happy that I did. I cannot believe that I didn't pick it up sooner. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy that I waited because I don't feel like it's overhyped. If a book is still hyped up after 7 years, it probably is accurate in the hyping up. So it's about time that I picked it up, but I am enjoying this so much. It's very intriguing. It's very fast paced. There's not been a dull moment yet. And let me just say, Miss Sarah Janet can write some steamy scenes, even if there's nothing in them. They're pretty steamy. So I'm highly enjoying it, and I would definitely say that it is not YA. So if you're going to go into this expecting YA, you will be surprised. Very surprised. Like I was, because I had heard of it and I didn't know that it had steamy scenes in it. Like I said, some steamy scenes. Surprise to me, because I didn't know they were in there. But if that does not bother you, and you like fantasy, I highly recommend this. I'm not even done with it, and I cannot wait for the next book. I also cannot wait to dive into the A House of Blood and Earth, the Crescent City novels. I can't wait to dive into those because her storytelling and just the eloquence, but also it's just the writing is not dense, yet it's eloquent. I am a fan so far. So I cannot wait to dive into more of her books. And again, if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on this when I am done, it will be up on my Goodreads page. Alright, everybody, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my first booktube video, and welcome to my channel. I am going to try to have probably 2 videos up a month. One that is kind of like a check-in point telling you what might be on my TBR for the rest of that month, and then one that is a wrap-up. I'm not sure exactly how this will go. Like I had mentioned, I do work full-time and I am a mom, so I don't always have a ton of time. I just wanted to do this as a kind of creative outlet, and I really do hope that you have enjoyed watching, and I hope that you either found a new author from this video that you might want to try, or a new book or type of book, genre, any of it. I hope you found something new that you will potentially really enjoy from watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!